Hey everybody, welcome back to our podcast. This is Tarshan.
This is Maya.
And today we're going to talk about our friends. Before we start, I just want to say something on our behalf. We're someone who are very receptive to communication. We give individuals the chance to talk. We listen to when they talk as well. And we try to understand where they come from. Yeah, we just want to say that before we start this episode.
None of these people are bad people.
Yeah.
And we're definitely looking at this from a point of compassion.
Mm-hmm.
But sure. That being said, we also are aware of where our boundaries lie and what our expectations are of friendships.
Yeah.
And how we don't want to carry or take on someone else's trauma when we don't have the capacity to.
Exactly.
So I'll throw it to you.
Yeah.
I'll let you get started.
Okay. So I had a friend, we've been friends for a long time, since high school, man. It's like more than 10 years of friendship. And sometimes he can be a dick. And each time when a problem arises, it feels like I'm the one who always try. Maybe maybe he's going through a rough day. Maybe he's something is happening. I'm gonna be the bigger guy, the bigger person, to let it go. Then I act like nothing happened, and we're back into chilling, doing things together, right? But it happened frequently, right? And that was during high school times, and even during my university years as well, right? So recently we got into an argument. It's I thought it was very insignificant. We're supposed to meet somewhere, and on the day of last minute changes would need to be made. And I communicated with him hey man, I know we're supposed to chill today, but I can only chill for 2 to 3 hours. I can't be there for the whole day because of this. And right off the bat he just goes he didn't listen to what I have to say. He just, you know what, you don't care. And he ended that communication. Without actually giving me a chance to elaborate, giving me a chance to communicate or tell my whole story, right? He just ended that call, and that's it. And that's it. I'm okay, whatever, okay. This always happens. This is I guess I'll talk to him then maybe next day, right?
Yeah.
Thing is, I tried. I tried calling him, texting him, hey man, when you get a chance, give me a call. I want to explain this further, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I started to convince myself that I did something wrong, right? So I started blaming myself. Okay, shit, this probably happened because of me. Maybe I didn't try hard enough, right? When it comes to this friendship. So then, weeks passed, and I will send them texts, man, paragraphs. Hey man, we really need to talk. Then one day I actually met him at this restaurant with another friend of ours, and I was chilling with. So there was two of us now, and same thing, right? So I have another friend with me, and same thing happened with him with the same person, right? So he was mad at both of us.
Yeah.
So and he was like, yo, I'm going through a lot, and he was. I took him out that day because he was going through a lot, and he wished he had the other guy with them as well, right? And somehow we ended up in the same restaurant.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna go. He was sitting 2 tables away from us, and you know what? For him, I'm just gonna go and try to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I almost cried, man. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? This is not cool. We should actually sit down and talk about this. And I was being vulnerable. I was being I was just crying out I was teary, man. I was almost teary, and he didn't I think he chuckled at one point, and he just so I felt very disrespected. I'm like, you know what, and that's when I realized, I tried for months, I tried for weeks, days. I think this is time for me to let it go because it's hurting me, man.
It's really affecting.
So, but when this was happening, my other friends, they didn't really try much. Then they, after a year now, we still haven't talked for a year now. And my other friends are like trying to get us back together. But I told my friends, like, please don't try, because I don't think I want to be in that place again, dealing with all this trauma. Right?
I think you maybe realized what this friendship meant to both of you.
Yeah. It was very toxic. And, so I decided to like end it, and I moved on. I think I got my closure, right? That's something that I was dealing with before I met him at the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey man, I need closure, man. I need to know what happened. Why did you do it?
Yeah.
But after that incident at the restaurant where I was like being vulnerable and, telling what happened, and he just chuckled, maybe like, because I'm a matcher, man. Like the amount of love I'm giving,
You expected
I expect it to, return back to me, but...
Can I make a few observations?
Yes.
If you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I think one of the things that you talked about that kind of I resonated with is people not listening. I think people jump to conclusions and they don't really listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
As a way for them to convince themselves that their action is valid and their course or their path that they're taking is valid. It's easier for them to say, oh, this person's not trying, oh, this person is angry at me, to validate their course of action, rather than actually listen, be compassionate, and be empathetic to what's going on and why things are going on, right?
Yeah.
And it works both ways. And I think like another thing that you mentioned that I kind of resonated with was in a previous episode you talked about enabling bad behaviors and trying to set those expectations. I think because of letting things go so often, I think the expectation was that you would be the one to come forward and try and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. The expectation was set, and that's because you were always letting things go.
Yeah, with this friendship, that's always been the case, right? It's always me, the one who actually forced myself onto him. Like, hey, man, come on, let's talk, right?
I know these things sometimes don't correlate, and I know that like it's very like a big generalization when I say that sometimes you can assess the value that someone places on a connection or a friendship by the things they say and do. I think one of those big things is love and compassion. Yes, the person may not have the capacity at that moment to provide that love and compassion, but every decision someone makes, there's a value assessment associated with that decision, right? And it's not, oh, I'm choosing you or I'm choosing this. You can choose both. But when someone does definitively say, I'm choosing my ego over this connection or this love, I think that's a definitive choice. It's not, I'm choosing this connection and my ego. I'm going to try for both. It's, I'm choosing one over the other. It's a value assessment that's been made, right? And so that's something that's hard to take. But thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, man. No worries, man.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
So I'll tell a story, just because like we're running out of time for this episode, but we'll continue it because this is a good conversation. I want to keep it going. So I think I also had a long-term friendship that I think in more recent years I've come to accept that I think I put in a lot of effort and time into that friendship and a lot of vulnerability and compassion. And I always made excuses for this other individual by saying they don't have the capacity, they don't have the time, they're going through their own trauma, they're going through their own experiences, and always trying to be supportive. I think what ended up happening was I started making excuses not only for them not returning the affection or love, and they would when we were physically there, but they wouldn't make the time to actually come out and talk or come out. It would always mostly be me, right? And that this was the past I'm talking about. And so I started making excuses for other things. I started making excuses for when there were issues that came up with moral dilemmas, right? For example, conservative talk, or an example of conservative talk is making judgments on what other people are wearing, and I'm not okay with that. But then to say, oh, this person they're a good person, but you know what, like they maybe weren't exposed to this idea, And so I understand why they said this. That's me giving an excuse for that friendship to kind of hold it in this ideal place.
And how long can you do that, man?
You can't. Eventually it breaks down, right?
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to see, but everyone around me could clearly see that this was an issue, right? And this was an issue with my friendship and this person, because I was trying to convince myself that this person was someone that they weren't. Because the way they presented themselves versus who they actually were, and it goes back to that, there's a huge discrepancy, right? There's a clash.
Yeah.
And so over time, I think I grew to accept, you know what, like, I'm making excuses for this person's bad behavior. It's not only affecting me, it's affecting my other friendships as well.
Yeah.
And so I need to take a step back. I need to match what this person has a capacity to give.
Yeah.
And once I started doing that, I think my bond with this person actually improved. It did not get closer, but the amount of trauma improved. It's not like we're not there for each other, but it's not the level of connection that I wanted. It's not the level of connection we initially had. I had to accept that we grew apart.
Yeah.
And once I accepted it, it was so much easier for me to accept what the connection was, who this person was, who I was, where ideas didn't match, where ideas did match. And by doing that, I think it built, it made me feel happier and healthier.
Are you still friends?
We are, yeah, we're still friends. I have a hard time letting go of friendships. I very, very rarely walk away from them. Yeah. And this is one I had to take a step back in. Yeah. So I think sharing those two stories will leave this episode. We have a few more stories. That we do want to share. So save that for the next one.
Sure.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.